the dead of night, the dense Mexican jungle, and a hideout so fortified that it might as well be a fortress. Inside, Joaquín El Chapo Guzmán, the most famous drug lord in history, is pacing restlessly. His paranoia is palpable, every creak of the wooden floorboards echoing like a thunderclap in his mind. But this isn't just another sleepless night for El Chapo. Not tonight. His empire is about to crumble. This is the night the hunters finally catch up with the prey. Welcome to the Golden Triangle, a remote region where the states of Sinaloa, Durango, and Chihuahua converge. It's here, in the rugged heart of the Sierra Madre, that El Chapo built his empire in his nearly impregnable hideouts. The Golden Triangle isn't just a geographical location, it's a haven for illicit activities, a major producer of marijuana and opium poppy, and the perfect breeding ground for the narcotic underworld. The region's remoteness from urban centers makes it ideal for clandestine operations. It's not just the natural barriers that make it formidable, it's the human ones too. El Chapo's hideouts were the stuff of legend, hidden deep within the mountains, accessible only by single-track dirt roads. These sanctuaries were fortified by both nature and design. His security was a complex web of at least 300 informants and heavily armed gunmen, operating with the precision and efficiency of a military unit. These men weren't just bodyguards, they were a small army, loyal to the core and ready to die for their leader. But it wasn't just brute force that protected El Chapo. It was the support of the locals, a community bound by a mixture of fear, loyalty, and the allure of bribes. In the Golden Triangle, outsiders were met with suspicion and hostility. The residents, many of whom relied on the drug trade for their livelihood, served as the eyes and ears of the Sinaloa cartel. They could spot law enforcement or any stranger from miles away, giving El Chapo and his men ample time to vanish into the shadows. Every approach to his hideouts was a gauntlet. Law enforcement faced not just the treacherous terrain, but an enemy that knew every inch of it intimately. Surveillance was a constant challenge, with informants ready to alert El Chapo at the first sign of danger. His escape routes were meticulously planned, utilizing bulletproof cars, aircraft, and all-terrain vehicles. He was always one step ahead, disappearing into the dense foliage or the labyrinthine tunnels that crisscrossed the mountains. In the Golden Triangle, El Chapo was more than a drug lord. He was a phantom, a ghost in the mist, and capturing him was like trying to catch smoke with bare hands. But as formidable as his defenses were, cracks were beginning to show, and the hunters were closing in. You know how in every thriller, there's that one pivotal moment where the seemingly invincible villain starts to falter? For El Chapo, that moment came with the unexpected arrest of Serafin Zambada Ortiz, a key lieutenant and the son of his close ally, Ismael El Mayo Zambada. In November 2013, as the sun set over the border town of Nogales, Arizona, Serafin, a man deeply embedded in the heart of the Sinaloa cartel, was apprehended by U.S. authorities. His arrest wasn't just another notch on the belt of law enforcement. It was a seismic chill that rippled through the entire cartel. Serafin's capture was a calculated strike. It wasn't just about taking down a high-ranking member, it was about infiltrating the fortress of El Chapo's inner circle. The young Zambada wasn't just any lieutenant. He was privy to the cartel's deepest secrets, its operational strategies, and most importantly, the locations and habits of its most wanted men. With Serafin in custody, the veil of invincibility around El Chapo started to lift. Law enforcement gained unprecedented insights into the cartel's operations. They learned about the intricate network of bribes that reached into the highest levels of the Mexican government, the sophisticated communication methods used to avoid detection, and the labyrinthine routes used for smuggling drugs across borders. Serafin's arrest wasn't just a blow to the cartel's logistical operations, it was a psychological strike. It sent a clear message: no one was untouchable. The fear of betrayal and the erosion of trust began to gnaw at the cartel from within. Paranoia spread like wildfire. Who would be next? Who was talking to the authorities? The once unbreakable bonds of loyalty started to fray. For El Chapo, the stakes were higher than ever. The walls were closing in, and the once shadowy figure was being dragged into the light. The arrest of Serafin Zambada Ortiz was more than just a tactical victory. It was the opening salvo in a larger, more relentless campaign to bring down the kingpin of the Sinaloa cartel. Imagine a fortress built on secrets, protected by layers of loyal soldiers, and fortified with confidence of untouchability. That was the Sinaloa cartel, but every fortress has its weak points. And for El Chapo's empire, those cracks started to show in the form of dramatic takedowns of his top lieutenants. First, there was Gonzalo Inzunza, better known as El Macho Prieto. On a chilly December day in 2013, the tranquil desert of Puerto Peñasco was shattered by the thunderous sounds of gunfire. Mexican Marines had cornered El Macho Prieto, a man known for his ruthlessness and tactical prowess. The firefight was fierce, bullets flying, dust rising, and in the end, El Macho Prieto lay dead. His fall wasn't just a loss of muscle, it was a significant fracture in the cartel's operational core. Then came Jose Rodrigo Arechiga Gamboa, or El Chino Antrax, another high-ranking enforcer. Unlike the chaotic end of El Macho Prieto, El Chino Antrax's capture was a testament to the patient, relentless work of international law enforcement. In December 2013, just days after El Macho Prieto's death, El Chino Antrax was apprehended at the Amsterdam airport, a stark reminder that no matter how far they ran, the long arm of justice could reach them. These weren't just routine captures or kills, they were strategic victories that shocked the cartel. Each fallen lieutenant carried with him a treasure trove of information. From El Macho Prieto, the authorities gleaned details about the cartel's combat strategies, safe houses, and routes. From El Chino Antrax, they uncovered insights into the cartel's international operations, financial transactions, and the intricate web of alliances that kept the organization afloat. Every piece of intelligence was a puzzle piece falling into place. Law enforcement agencies were no longer stumbling in the dark. They were piecing together the inner workings of the cartel with surgical precision. The once impenetrable facade of the Sinaloa cartel was beginning to crumble, exposing vulnerabilities that were ripe for exploitation. For El Chapo, the loss of these key figures was more than just a tactical setback. It was a signal that his once tight grip on power was slipping. The fortress was being breached, and the man who had eluded capture for so long was finding fewer and fewer places to hide. The cracks in the cartel security were widening, and the relentless march of law enforcement was closing in. In the world of crime, unpredictability is a key to survival. But even the most elusive figures can fall into patterns. Such was the case with El Chapo, whose once mysterious movements began to follow a more predictable path, leading him from the rugged countryside to the comforts of urban life. As the years went by, El Chapo's appetite for the austere life of the countryside began to wane. Reports surfaced of his increasing ventures into Culiacan and other urban areas, a stark departure from his previous preference in the seclusion of the Sierra Madre Mountains. Many speculated that this shift was influenced by his family, particularly his wife Emma Coronel Aizpuro. Being much younger than El Chapo, Emma was unaccustomed to the rustic lifestyle of the mountains. With the birth of their twin daughters, Emma insisted that El Chapo spend more time with them, a desire that clashed with the demands of his criminal empire. It was a subtle but significant change, indicating that El Chapo was no longer content with the limitations of his rural hideouts. But there was more to El Chapo's urban escapades than just family influence. He craved the luxuries that only urban life could offer. Gourmet foods, once a distant dream, now beckoned to him during the bustling city streets. Reports emerged of El Chapo being spotted at restaurants, enjoying the finer things in life. It was a risky move, venturing into the public eye, but it spoke volumes about his desire for a more comfortable and extravagant lifestyle. For law enforcement agencies, these shifts in El Chapo's behavior were not just idle observations. They were valuable insights into his psyche. The once elusive drug lord was becoming more predictable, his movements more traceable. The urban landscape that once offered him anonymity was now a potential trap, closing in on him with every step he took. As El Chapo's movements became more predictable, law enforcement agencies meticulously planned their next move. The operation to capture him, codenamed Gargoyle, was a masterclass in military precision and intelligence gathering. Intelligence reports flooded in, detailing El Chapo's every move and interaction. Every phone call, every text message became a piece in the puzzle that would lead to his capture. The operation involved a multi-layered strategy, with one of the most ingenious elements being the deployment of a decoy ship off the coast of Baja California. The ship was a ruse, designed to divert attention away from the real operation. While onlookers focused on the decoy, the real action was unfolding elsewhere, as law enforcement agencies closed in on their target. The military readiness was unparalleled. The Mexican Navy, acting on intelligence from the DEA, assembled at a military base at Los Cabos, poised to strike at a moment's notice. The operation was a high-stakes game of cat and mouse, with El Chapo's security circle constantly monitoring for any signs of an impending raid. But the authorities were one step ahead. They knew that time was of the essence, and they were prepared to do whatever it took to capture the elusive drug lord. As the operation unfolded, the Navy moved swiftly, surrounding the target location and closing in on El Chapo's whereabouts. The tension was palpable as the authorities closed in, their years of planning and preparation culminating in a dramatic showdown. As the net closed in around him, El Chapo found himself in increasingly perilous situations, narrowly escaping capture each time. One such instance was the raid on a property owned by his ex-wife, Griselda Perez Lopez. The authorities moved in, expecting to find their target, but El Chapo was one step ahead. The front door was steel reinforced, custom-made to withstand any attempt to breach it. But the authorities persisted, hammering away until they gained access. What they found inside was astonishing. A hidden tunnel, complete with hydraulic lifts, led to an escape route through the sewage system of Culiacan. El Chapo's ability to evade capture was nothing short of remarkable. Despite the odds stacked against him, he used every trick in the book to stay one step ahead of the authorities. Even when the authorities thought they had him cornered, El Chapo managed to slip away, using his network of informants and sophisticated tactics to avoid capture. His ability to escape from seemingly impossible situations only added to his mystique, cementing his status as a nearly mythical figure in Mexico's narco folklore. After years on the run, El Chapo's luck finally ran out. The authorities, armed with crucial intelligence, closed in on his location with precision. Hugo Ramirez's cell phone signal led them to Hotel Miramar, a 12-story complex in a beach resort area. The authorities, including Mexican soldiers and agents from the DEA and U.S. agencies, cordoned off the area. With the sea secured, they moved in, making their way to apartment number 401 on the 4th floor. Inside, they found El Chapo's bodyguard, who surrendered without a fight. In one of the bedrooms, they found El Chapo, along with his chef, babysitter, and his two daughters, Molly and Maria Joaquina. The arrest was made swiftly and without incident. The news of El Chapo's capture spread like wildfire, making headlines around the world. For many, it was a moment of justice served, the end of an era of crime and violence. His capture was hailed as a major victory in the fight against drug trafficking, and his trial would become one of the most high-profile cases in recent memory. As El Chapo was brought to justice, the world watched, eager to see the final chapter in the story of one of the most notorious criminals of our time. The capture of El Chapo marked the end of an era, not just for him, but for the entire criminal underworld. Once regarded as untouchable, his arrest shattered the myth of invincibility. For many Mexicans, his capture was a symbol of hope, a sign that even the most powerful criminals could be brought to justice. But the impact of El Chapo's arrest went beyond Mexico. It sent shockwaves through the drug trafficking world, disrupting the operations of the Sinaloa cartel and forcing other cartels to re-evaluate their strategies. With El Chapo behind bars, the Sinaloa cartel faced internal struggles and external pressures, leading to a decline in its dominance in the drug trade. His arrest also had broader implications for drug trafficking worldwide, as authorities ramped up efforts to dismantle other criminal organizations and disrupt the flow of illegal drugs. While El Chapo's capture was a significant victory in the war on drugs, it also highlighted the challenges of combating organized crime in an increasingly globalized world. As the dust settled and El Chapo faced trial, the world was left to ponder the legacy of a man who had once been one of the most feared and elusive criminals in history. His capture was a reminder that no matter how powerful a criminal may seem, in the end, justice will prevail. So, there you have it, the extraordinary saga of how El Chapo, one of the most notorious drug lords in history, was finally captured. We delved into the shadowy corners of his elusive hideouts, the crucial penetration of his inner circle, and the cracks that began to form in the cartel security. We witnessed his changing lifestyle that made him more predictable, the intense preparation of Operation Gargoyle, and his narrow escapes that added to his legend. But ultimately, it was a combination of relentless pursuit, cutting-edge intelligence, and meticulous planning that led to his downfall. This operation wasn't just about capturing one man, it was a significant strike against organized crime, sending a powerful message to cartels around the world. It showed that no matter how powerful or well-protected, justice can and will prevail. If you found this journey through the underworld as gripping as we did, make sure to hit that like button. And if you haven't already, subscribe to our channel for more deep dives into the world of crime, mystery, and the relentless pursuit of justice. Don't miss out on our next thrilling story. Stay tuned, stay curious, and until next time, keep questioning the shadows.